bin. Look who's in the reject bin. It's the Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls.
Dolls like you and me. Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls.
Made him perfectly. So if you got a bump on your nose or lumps on your toes, do not despair. Be like the Raggy Dolls and say I just don't care. 'Cause Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls.
Raggy Dolls
Raggy Dolls.
are happy just to be Raggy Dolls, Raggy Dolls, dolls like you and me. One fine sunny Saturday afternoon, the Raggy Dolls decided to go out to the big field, all except Sad Sack. He had decided not to go with the others today because they always wanted to do things he wasn't much good at. "Oh, come on, Sad Sack," said Dotty. "You can't stay in on a lovely day like today." "My mind is made up," said Sad Sack firmly. "Don't be like that, mon ami," said Claude. "We will do whatever you want to do." "Except stay in," added Dotty. "I have made up my mind," said Sad Sack, even more firmly. "Oh, well," said Lucy, "if you do change your mind, we'll all be in the big field." Sad Sack watched them go. "Now, what shall I do?" he thought. "I know. I think I'll change my mind." And he set off to join the others. There was no sign of the Raggy Dolls when Sad Sack got to the big field. "I wonder where they've got to," he thought. "I can see a lion," said Lucy. "What? Where?" said Sad Sack, spinning around in amazement. One by one, the Raggy Dolls sat up in surprise. They had all been lying down, looking up at the clouds. "Where's the lion?" asked Sad Sack. "Up in the clouds, silly," said Dotty. "We've been trying to see faces or animals in the clouds," explained Lucy, "and I just saw a cloud shaped like a lion." "I think it's more like the face of a king," said Princess. "Look, there's a jumping rabbit," said Back to Front. Sad Sack sat down wearily. Look, there's Florrie Fosdyke's hat," stuttered Hi-Fi. The others all laughed. Even Sad Sack raised a smile. He decided to join in. "It must be nice being a cloud, blown about by the wind." He lay on his back and looked at the clouds. Yes, there was a face, like a clown, with a big red nose that seemed to get bigger and bigger. "I can see a clown with a big red nose that gets bigger and bigger," said Sad Sack. "Don't be silly," said Dotty. "How can a cloud have a red nose?" "He's right, though," whispered Lucy. "I can see a cloud with a big red nose." The Raggy Dolls stood up and watched as the red nose got bigger and bigger. That's not a nose," said Hi-Fi, pointing to the sky. "That's a hot air balloon." "And it's going to land in a big field," said Back to Front. "Come on, everyone," ordered Dotty. "Take cover." The Raggy Dolls ran to the edge of the dark wood as the huge red balloon got nearer and nearer to the ground. "Zut alors," said Claude. "I think it is going to crash." The Raggy Dolls could see a man in a helmet working the controls. When he pulled a sort of string, flames shot out of a gas burner and made a loud noise. This made the balloon stop coming down so fast. It seemed to hang in the air. "I don't think it is going to crash," said Back to Front. "He's got it under control. No problem." Sure enough, the man brought the big red balloon gently down to the ground. A boy on a bicycle who kept saying, "Wow," pedalled furiously into the big field. "Wow," he said, as the man climbed out of the basket and quickly secured the big balloon with ropes and pegs and hooks. "Good morning," said the man to the boy. "Where can I find a telephone?" "I think there's one up on the crossroads past Grimes' toy factory," said the boy. "Thank you," said the man. "Do you think you can keep an eye on the balloon while I telephone my ground crew?" "Wow," said the boy, as the man hurried away. The Raggy Dolls watched as the little boy became more and more curious. "Oh, no," said Dotty. "He's going to climb in. I'm sure the man didn't mean him to do that." Suddenly, a gust of wind caught the big balloon and 2 of the pegs came loose. The boy was thrown against the gas cylinder and hit his head, knocking him unconscious.
Raggy Dolls to the rescue!
Stammered Hi-Fi. The balloon was breaking loose. The Raggy Dolls ran to catch hold of the ropes, all except for Lucy and Sad Sack. "I don't like this," thought Sad Sack.
"Oh, I think I'm going all to pieces again,"
said Lucy, shaking all over.
"Come on, you two,"
yelled Dotty.
"We need your help."
But it was no use. The balloon broke free and began to lift off the ground. In no time at all, the Raggy Dolls scrambled up the rope and into the basket. Last of all was Sad Sack. Oh dear, why did I change my mind? I'm no good at ballooning." Lucy and Princess tried to make the boy comfortable. He was still unconscious.
Said Dotty. "He needs to be in hospital."
"Yeah," said Back to Front. "But how are we going to get him there?" "Don't look now," said Sad Sack gloomily. "But I think we're flying over the sea."
"Zut alors," said Claude. "He is right."
Hi-Fi spoke into his headphones.
Mayday, mayday, calling Coast Guard, calling Coast Guard. Boy injured, send help, over. "Well done, Hi-Fi,"
said Dotty. Meanwhile, the balloon had lost height. Now it was only just above the waves.
"Pull the string,"
shouted Claude.
"Right you are,"
said Back to Front.
"No problem."
The flames roared and the balloon lifted, but not much. The flames suddenly stopped.
"We must be out of gas,"
said Hi-Fi, looking at the gauge. Oh no, thought Sad Sack. He decided that he didn't like being blown about like a cloud in the wind.
"The wind's changing," said Dotty. "We're heading back towards land."
"Yeah, but look," said Back to Front. "There's a cliff straight ahead." There was a bump, and the balloon was soon tangled in the rocks and trees, halfway up a tall cliff.
"Here comes the Coast Guard. Take cover, everybody,"
ordered Dotty. The boy opened his eyes. "Wow," he said. "Where am I?" The Raggy Dolls scrambled out of the basket and hid in some heather. They watched as the boy was rescued by a man on a long wire dangling from the helicopter.
"Bravo,"
said Claude.
"Now he's safe." "Yes, but what about us?"
said Lucy.
"We're halfway up a cliff." "Don't worry," said Dotty. "We'll be all right. We'll follow that rabbit path to the top."
The Raggy Dolls soon reached the top of the cliff. There they found a road. Quite a few cars had stopped to watch the rescue.
"Look," said Dotty. "Isn't that Mr. Grimes's car?"
It was. And in no time at all, the Raggy Dolls were on their way back to the factory, hiding under Mr. Grimes' jacket.
"I hope that boy's all right,"
whispered Lucy.
"I'm sure he is,"
whispered Dotty.
"He's very lucky."
"Mais oui," whispered Claude. "It could have been worse."
"Worse for all of us,"
said Hi-Fi.
"Yes, but what an adventure,"
whispered Princess.
"Yeah, terrific,"
whispered Back to Front. Sad Sack couldn't make up his mind what to think.
Raggy dolls, raggy dolls, are happy just to be raggy dolls, dolls like you and me.
It was the middle of the night. All the Raggy Dolls were asleep, except for Lucy. She looked at the others, sleeping peacefully without a care in the world.
"I wish I didn't go all to pieces,"
she thought. She got up and went to the window. The night was full of stars. The stars twinkled, and Lucy wondered.
"The stars aren't afraid of the dark, so why am I? Oh, if only I was just a little bit brave. Oh, what's that?"
Lucy's knees started knocking. "It's only me," said an owl outside the window. "Sorry if I frightened you." And away he flew on silent wings.
"Silly me,"
thought Lucy.
"He's not afraid of the dark either."
Lucy took a deep breath.
"I shall be brave,"
she whispered to herself.
I shall go for a midnight walk.
Minutes later, Lucy was walking along the path towards the big field. The moon was very bright, but she still found it hard to see where she was going.
There's nothing to be scared of,
she told herself.
everything is the same as in the daytime, except there's more shadows.
Lucy's knees started knocking again. Ahead of her was a strange shape. It had a horrible head, and its arms were stretched out towards her. Lucy began to tremble all over. Suddenly, two eyes opened and stared out at the horrible head.
"Oh, hello, Lucy,"
said Pumpernickel the Scarecrow.
"What are you doing out here at this time of night?"
Oh, Pumpernickel, it's you, said Lucy. You did give me a scare. I'm having a midnight walk. I'm trying to make myself a little bit more brave.
"Brave?" laughed Pumpernickel. "You don't have to be brave to come out here in the middle of the night. Oh, no, not brave. You have to be silly. That's what you have to be."
Lucy was puzzled.
What do you mean, silly?
She asked.
"Well, you might fall in a ditch or something, and no one would know where you were. Did you tell the others you were going on a midnight walk?"
Well, no,
said Lucy.
"Well, that's what I mean by silly," said Pumpernickel. "Leave the darkness to the creatures of the night. They can see where they're going. You can't."
I suppose you're right,
said Lucy sadly.
Good night, Pumpernickel.
"Good night, Lucy. Mind how you go. Oh, by the way, you say you want to be brave?
Yes, I do, more than anything.
Well then, why don't you find out what that greeny light is over there?"
Where?
Lucy looked around anxiously. Pumpernickel twisted himself in the ground and managed to point to the factory.
"Over there," he puffed. "Something's been going on these past 3 or 4 nights. Green lights and dancing shapes."
Lucy gasped.
I must tell the others.
"Keep to the path,"
called Pumpernickel as Lucy ran as fast as her legs could carry her. In no time at all, she had woken up all the other Raggy Dolls and had told them about the strange greeny lights and shapes.
We must investigate, said Dotty.
Do we have to? Yawned Sadsack, wishing he was still asleep.
"Mais oui, mon ami,"
said Claude.
"If there is something, we must find out what it is."
That's right, said Back to Front. And if there's nothing, we can all go back to bed. No problem. Hi-Fi produced a torch.
We'd better take this, he said. Good thinking,
said Dotty. Hi-Fi shone the torch, and the Raggy Dolls made their way slowly through the dark factory. Lucy kept telling herself, I must be brave, I must be brave. Shh, said Claude. I can hear something. The Raggy Dolls stopped and listened. They could hear ghostly laughing.
It's coming from over there,
said Dotty.
Come on.
Soon they were outside the storeroom. A flickering green light shone under the door. Lucy's knees began knocking.
I must be brave, she thought. I must be brave.
And sure enough, her knees stopped knocking. Listen, said Back to Front. The laughing stopped, and the lights have gone out. Everything was really quiet. The Raggy Dolls pushed open the storeroom door and crept inside. Hi-Fi shone his torch around. There was nothing but boxes to be seen. I don't like it, said Sadsack. Suddenly, Hi-Fi's torch went out.
Battery must have run out,
he stuttered. No, I definitely don't like it, said Sadsack.
"Boo,"
said a voice.
"Boo," said another. "Boo, boo, boo."
The Raggy Dolls jumped in fright. All around them, out popped wobbly, luminous skeletons. They laughed horrible laughs and poked the Raggy Dolls with their long, thin fingers.
Yeah. We gave you a scare.
They danced and they sang all around the Raggy Dolls. Lucy felt herself going to pieces.
I must be brave. I must be brave,
she thought. Suddenly, she yelled at the top of her voice.
Stop it! Stop it at once!
All the other Raggy Dolls stared at Lucy in amazement. They couldn't believe she was being so brave.
You shouldn't go around scaring people, Lucy went on. It isn't nice. Not nice? But that's our job, said the first skeleton. Yeah, said the second. We're Mr. Grimes' latest idea. We're the scary skeletons, see? We glow in the dark. All the skeletons made ghostly noises and waved their arms about. I begin to understand, said Dotty at last. You must be the new toys the factory is making. That's right. We're the first lot, said the first skeleton. When were you made? Asked Lucy suddenly. Oh, about 3 or 4 days ago, said the second. We've been practicing every night, said a third. That explains everything, said Princess. Lucy had a brainwave. Stay here, she told the skeletons. Come on, Raggy Dolls, we'll give them a scare. Oh, goody, goody, way, said the skeletons, and they settled down to wait for their scare. They didn't have to wait long. Hi-Fi fixed his torch and put blue paper over the beam. Back to front and Claude rattled chains. Dotty and Princess made noises like the wind. And Sad Sack moaned his most sorrowful moan. Oh. And Lucy became a headless doll. Ah! Ah! It's a ghost! Yelled the skeletons, and they jumped into their box. The Raggy Dolls all laughed. It's only us, they said. Wow, said the skeletons. That was great. Terrific, said another. The skeletons were so excited. Now can we go back to bed? Said Sad Sack. Yes, said Dotty. Come on, you skeletons, settle down. I think we've all had enough scaring for one night. The skeletons agreed and thanked the Raggy Dolls and tucked themselves up in their box. Later, back in the reject bin, the others were soon fast asleep, and Lucy thought to herself, it's quite useful being able to go to pieces, sometimes. And soon, she too was fast asleep.
It's not much of a life when you're just a pretty face. Just to be whoever you are is no disgrace. Look around and you will find people of every kind, like the Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
dolls like you and me. Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
made imperfectly. So if you're not at ease with your knobbly knees and your fingers are all fuzz, stand on your 2 left feet